Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Zinny and I'm a fashion designer based in the eastern part of Nigeria. So on today's tutorial, we are going to learn how to draft a princess dart. And already here, this is a line to mark the beginning of my pattern, and then we have our bust point, our under bust and our waist. So I'll start here by measuring my standard neck width measurement, which is 3 inches, and my neck depth measurement, which is also 3 inches. So I'll go ahead and connect this using my French curve. Next, I'll go ahead and mark my shoulder measurement, which is 8 inches, and on that line I'll come down by 1 inch, and then I'll mark it down, and then I'll use my ruler to make a slanted line down to the 3 inches initial standard neck measurements that I marked out before. So the next thing I'll do is to bring down my shoulder measurement down to my bust point area, and then I'll mark it down. Now the next is to determine my armhole measurement. So on a straight line, I'll go ahead and connect where I made the point I made my slant down to my bust point area. In order to get my armhole curve, I'll go ahead and divide this line by 2, which is going to give me 4.5 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark this 4.5. Marking this 4.5, I'll go in by half of an inch. So I'll go ahead and mark this as well. Now the next thing I'll do is to measure out my bust and mark. Now my bust is 10 inches. And then I'll go ahead and connect these 3 dots together. This is going to give me my armhole curve. Just as you see me doing in the video, I'll go ahead and connect the 3 dots together. Yes, this is what we have. We have our armhole curve. The next thing I'll be doing is to impute my nipple to nipple measurement on my bust point, which is 4 inches, and I've marked that. Now on my under bust, I'll go in by half of an inch, which would make it 3.5 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark 3.5 inches instead of 4 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark the same 3.5 inches on the waistline. Okay, so I marked 4 inches, which is my nipple to nipple on my bust point, and then after I started reducing it on the under bust by half of an inch, which made it 3.5, and then I marked it down to the waist. Now I'll go ahead and connect these 3 lines together. This is what is giving me. So your line is not supposed to be straight, it's supposed to be slanted. Let's say your nipple to nipple measurement is 3.5. When you get to your under bust, you reduce it by half of an inch, which will make your under bust 3 and your waist 3. I hope that is clear by now. So now the next thing we'll do is to mark 2 inches on our under bust, and we'll go ahead and mark that same 2 inches on our waist. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and connect these dots together, just as you see me doing in the video. Now for this part, some people go ahead to use 1.5 inches, but personally I just like to use 2 inches so that it gives me the depth that I want. Now with my curved ruler, I'll go ahead and make a curve from my under bust to my bust point. Just as you see me doing in the video, I'll go ahead and make a curve. So now the next thing I'll do is to go ahead and take the measurement of the curve of my armhole curve. Now whatever it is, I'll go ahead and divide it by 2. So now this half of this gave me 5, so I'll just go ahead and mark 5. Now using my ruler, I'll connect that 5 to the line on my bust point on my nipple to nipple measurement, just as you see me doing in the video. So I'll go ahead and connect this. Now we are going to be removing our darts. So now on the right side of the line, I'll go ahead and mark 1.5 inches on it as the dart, and then after marking this, I'll go ahead and connect it back to the nipple to nipple measurement that I made, just as you see me doing in the video. I'll go ahead and connect it back in a slanted line. Now on this dart that I made, I'm going to raise it by 2 inches at most, because if you do not do this, you find out that when you are about to sew, when you start sewing, the parts of the dress is not going to align together. So because we want it to align properly, we are going to increase it. So I'll be increasing mine by 2 inches, okay, so that it aligns properly. Part is very vital. It's not even something that you can skip or do away with. So now we'll go ahead and connect our extension down to the line that we made before. So this will become our new dart. So now, because we can't just leave this our new dart like that, we'll go ahead and recurve our armhole, half of our armhole, so that it fits in properly, just as you see me doing in the video. I'll go ahead and recurve my armhole. So now this becomes our new armhole. So now the next thing I'll do here is to try and blend in this sharp edge. Okay, so this sharp edge is not supposed to be like this, like it's really going to have a funny shape. So I'll just use my marker and then try to blend it in so that it doesn't have this very pointed edge. This is also very important. So yes, I've blended it, and this is how it looks after blending. The next thing I'm going to be doing is that I'll shade off all these unwanted areas. These are the areas that are not wanted, so I'll just shape them out because I'm going to be cutting it out, and I'm not going to be leaving those parts that I'm shading. Okay guys, please pardon me, I kind of started cutting out and I forgot that I've not yet put in my waist measurement, and I've not yet marked it from my bust line down to my waist. Okay, so here my bust measurement is 40 inches divided by 4 will give me 10. So that is my 10 that I marked already. Then what I'm going to do is that I'll measure out that area that is not wanted on my bust line. So this gave me half of an inch, so I'll calculate that half of an inch plus my side seam allowance. My side seam allowance is 1.5 inches plus the darts that I removed here in total, which makes it 2 inches. So 10 inches for my bust plus the 2 inches allowance will make it 12 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark this on the side, just as you see me doing in the video. Now the next is my waist measurement. My waist measurement is 34 inches divided by 4, which is going to give us 8.5. So this is my 8.5 here that my tape is. So now I am going to plus that with my dart that I left. So remember that we left 2 inches dart. So now 8.5 plus 2 inches dart will give us 10.5, and 10.5 plus 1.5 inches seam allowance will give us 12. So we'll go ahead and mark our 12 inches. Now the next thing would be to connect our bust measurement down to our waist measurement. Okay, and this is just all for the drafting of this princess dart for the front side. Okay, so this is just all for it. Now I'll go ahead and just cut it off, so you can watch closely as I'm cutting it so that it would help you when you're cutting yours, so that you don't even get confused at all, because these parts can be a little bit confusing. So I'll just go ahead and cut right through it, just as you see me doing in the video. So yes, this is our princess dart pattern for our front bodies. Now the next is to cut out and draft our back bodies. So this is our pattern for the back bodies, and already I've made my line from where I'll start drafting from. Now since this is the back and it's going to have a zipper, we'll start by removing our zipper allowance, which is 1.5 inches. So I'll go ahead and then I'll mark 1.5 inches from the beginning down to the length of our pattern paper, and I'll just rule a line. So now the next thing I'll do here is to mark my bust point measurement. So from my shoulder to my bust point measurement is 10 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark this, and then I'll rule a line across. So now, because the back does not have any need for under bust, we'll go ahead and skip that part, and then we'll just label our bust point and then move down to the waist. I'll just go ahead and label my waist because it is the end of my fabric. So I'll go ahead, mark my standard neck width, which is 3 inches, and for the depth, it's not going to be the same thing with the front depth, because the back is not supposed to be lower. So I'll just use 1 inch, but at most you can just use 1.5 inch. So I'll go ahead, mark this, and then I'll connect it I'll connect it again to the neck width measurement. Now I'll go again and mark my 8 inches shoulder measurement, and then on that line I'll come down by 1 inch, and then I'll slant it again down to the 3 inches width neck width measurement that I made. So I'll go ahead again, bring down my shoulder measurement to my bust point line, and then I'll mark this, and I'll go ahead and connect, and on a straight line connect it back to the 1 inch that I slanted. So this is going to help me, this is going to guide me for my armhole, as you already know. So I'll go ahead again, almost the same procedure as the front. I'll mark half of my line, which is 4.5 inches, and then I'll go in by half of an inch, and then I'll mark that. Now the next thing I'll do is to mark on my bust measurement, which is 10 inches. After marking that, then I'll go ahead and connect the 3 lines together. Also for the back, we are going to be doing princess dart, unlike the normal dart. So I'll go ahead and mark 4 inches nipple to nipple on my bust point and on my waist. Okay, so here for the back there's no need for reduction, because there's no the back is straight. So yes, we'll go ahead and connect those 2 lines together. The next thing I'll do is I'm going to mark half of an inch dart on the both sides of the line. Okay, on the left side I'll mark half of an inch, and on the right side I'll mark half of an inch. Now after that, on that same line I'll come down by 1 inch on the line, and I'll mark. Now after coming down on 1 inch, I'll go ahead and connect it down to the ½ inch that I removed on the waistline. Okay, this is just to reduce tightness around that area. So yes, I'll go ahead and connect it like so. The next thing I'll be doing is to extend the line on my bust point to my armhole area. Okay, so now I'm going to remove my dart from the right hand side of this line. Now again, because of this is the back, I'll just remove 1 inch, because I don't want it to be so curved. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and slant it down to my bust point area, just as you see me doing in the video. Now after I'm done doing this, I'll go ahead and extend that line by 1.5 inches. So after extending it, I'll go ahead and connect it back. So just like we did with the front, I'll go ahead and blend out this very sharp area. So just as you see me doing in the video, I'll blend it out, and yes, that is it. Now the next thing we'll do is to curve out our armhole again using our armhole curve, just as you see me doing in the video. I'll go ahead and curve this out again. Just like the same thing we did for the front, I'll go ahead and add my that allowance and my seam allowance on my bust area. So now coming down to the waist, I'll do exactly the same thing. I'll do 8.5 inches plus plus 1 inch, ½ inch on the both side of the dart. Okay, which is going to give us 9.5. Then 9.5 plus 2 inches allowance, 2 inches seam allowance. Okay, which will still give us 11.5 inches. Now we'll go ahead and mark that, and then we'll use our ruler to connect these 2 lines together. So here I'll go ahead and shade off all the unwanted areas, and the next thing I'll do is to cut it out. Yes, I'm done cutting the back, and this is what we have. So here I'm going to remove some inches from the zipper. So this is going to help and eliminate any zip bulge that comes out at the back. Okay, so this aspect is very important and vital. It's not something that you should skip. So yes, I'll go ahead and remove ½ of an inch. Now after removing it, I'll slant it to the up part of the zip, just as you see me doing in the video. So this is all for this tutorial, as we have come to the end of it. So now please, if you did enjoy this video, do not forget to give it a thumbs up, comment, share, and turn on your notification bells in order to get notified whenever I post subsequent videos. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for staying with me. See you next time in my next video. Bye.